Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. My name is Janneil Pilgrim and I'm the friend that tells you the truth about your makeup. Before I even start, thank you so much for 300 subscribers. The 300 feel like a milli, I'm not even gonna lie. I love you guys so much. I'm so appreciative of every single person that watches my video, subscribe, comments. You guys don't even know how much it means to me, because there are so many other influencers out there that you could support, but you choose me and I love you today. There's no way I could pay you back, but the plan is to let you know I understand. There's no way I can pay you back yet. Let me tell you what we're doing today. We're doing an everyday makeup look, an actual everyday makeup look. Some of these things are going to be optional, but I don't want to talk it out, so let's just get into the video. Let me know if the position of my mirror is okay. I'm testing out having it here instead of to the side now, so let me know if that's okay for you. I start off by moisturizing my face with my Pond's B3 Clarant cream. You can use any moisturizer that is compatible with your foundation or your concealer overall. So whatever moisturizer is compatible, or serum or oil or whatever it is that you want to use, just use something to moisturize your face. Then I go ahead and do my eyebrows. Now I did these off camera because I have a whole video on that. So even if you don't want to do your eyebrows like this, but you want them to be perfectly even every single time, twins and not sisters, go ahead and check out that video. I'll put the link in the description. Sometimes I like to do eyeshadow, sometimes I feel like a winged liner kind of girl, but to make it more friendly, because I know a lot of people can't really do a winged liner, I'm just gonna go ahead and do shadow instead. It's a very minimalist kind of look. Guys, I'm not sending you out to buy any $45 palette or any $50 palette. You need a simple palette on the BH Cosmetics site. This costs less than $10. I think I got it on sale too for $4 something small with enough colors for you to choose from. Especially if you're just starting out, that would be best for you. I start off with this color. I blend it. You can use bronzer if you want to, if you're a bronzer kind of person, or if you don't even know what bronzer is, let's not even get into that. Use the eyeshadow palette that you have. Search for a color that complements your eyes, not a shimmer. It cannot under any circumstances be a shimmer. We don't blend shimmers up here at all. I'm using barely anything. Why? Because this should not be taking long. It's an everyday makeup look. You shouldn't be taking forever for this, but just make sure that it's blended properly. This is optional, you don't have to, but because I'm extra, I like to blend a second color to deepen my crease in a way. I want to create a gradient on my eyes, so I'm going to use this dark brown. Basically place it directly in my crease to deepen my crease area. I ensure that when I'm blending it, I place this color at the outer corner of my eyes. You can go ahead and use a denser blending brush like this one, so one that's more compact. You can see that, look at the difference between these two. This is less fluffier than this one, and this is what you use to blend. This is what you use to add on color, because it's more compact. Because I'm familiar with placement, so I can do that. I'm just telling you guys something that will help for sure. I basically do a fake cut crease. You can use a concealer brush like this one, or use this brush. This picks up the shadows nicely. It's a fluffy tapered brush. Brushes from BH Cosmetics are very affordable and they're lasting, because we wash brushes over here. Where was I? Why am I rambling? Y'all ain't asked me all day. Yes, so back to the color that I'm going to use. I'm going to use this color, beige. Most people would like to call this a nude. I basically start placing it on my lid here, and I do the shape of a crease ish. I don't have time to be cutting the crease for an everyday makeup look all the time. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Most times when I do looks like this, I'm going to church and I don't really have time. Then I go back in with a darker color that I use, which is this brown. right? And tie that all together. If you haven't already, remember to click the subscribe button, because obviously you're still here if you love me, so just go ahead and click that. It's never too late. Make sure you're writing these down. You need a primer. I don't care what you heard on TikTok. I don't care. You need a primer, okay? And not for the mere fact that it's going to make you matte or anything, but I just like to have that second layer, especially when you're wearing liquid foundation. I like as many layers as possible between my skin barrier and that makeup. I won't go into details, but let me just say you need a primer. That's all you need to know. You don't need any more information. If you want more information, you can Google it, read up. But let me just tell you right here, right now, save you the time. You need a primer. I don't care what anyone on TikTok says. Now you need to find a primer that's compatible with the foundation that you have. Because you could be using the primer and then when you put on the foundation or your concealer, you see that it's separating and you don't want that. Like dissolves like, that's how you know. So look at your foundation bottle before you find a primer. If you see bare A's and E's and O's. If you look on the primer ingredients and you see the same types of compounds in it, then you know that it's compatible. I use the NYX Angel Veil Primer. I have combination skin, so I get very oily in my T-zone. And I find that this primer helps. Before, when I used to use a lot of other primers, you could fry eggs on my face. By the time it was a couple hours later, like especially on my nose. For years, I've been on the hunt for a primer that would help with that. Because I used to use a primer and then set it, and it would still make me so greasy, and it was so annoying. I finally found a primer that when I use it, I don't get oily. Of course, some oils are gonna come up, but I don't get as oily as I used to look. Thank God that is the past. You can see this is a mattifying primer. So you see I put it on. Any little moisture that you thought you were seeing on my face before, my face looks pretty matte now. That is one of the reasons why I like this. And it also feels like silk, honey. The next thing that we're gonna do, well, that I'm gonna do, is color correct. The reason why I color correct is because my skin is not even and perfect. I don't know about you guys, but I need to cover my dark areas, my dark marks. It makes no sense. I'm wearing makeup and you can see the dark areas on my face. For black women, they suggest either orange undertone concealers, red undertone concealers, these color correcting things that I use. Sometimes I mix it with my concealer, sometimes I don't, you know, if I can. But those are what they recommend to cover dark marks. If you have red areas, the green color corrector, right? You know, something cooler toned is what is going to get rid of those red areas. Or just get a punch in the face kind of full coverage, ain't no way I'm seeing my way through kind of foundation. I use this, my color corrector, and I mix it with my Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the color Sand. Alright, so I put a little at the beginning of my eye. Not the beginning of my eye. You don't need a lot of color corrector. I ensure that under my eye is fully covered. Do you see how far that blended out? And I just put this much. So you don't need to put it all under your eye. I put this eyeliner on because I like black eyeliner. What I'm going to need you to do is grab a powder, translucent powder. It can be a skin tone powder. Just a powder, preferably loose. A loose setting powder. I'm going to set mine with my Sasha Buttercup setting powder, because I don't really have anything else to use it for, and it makes me look yellow when I use it as a face setting powder. So I just use it to set my primer and my, what you call this, my color corrector. So I just set all over my face. I don't brush it over like this. I stamp it into my skin with the brush. So I use a brush like this. I actually got this brush from a wholesale in Jamaica. The pack costs less than 200 Jamaican dollars, so that's less than $2, guys. It's really never ever about what you use. It's always about how you use it. If you're feeling like it, you can use a damp sponge. I don't like to use a damp sponge for this, but if that's what works for you, do that. So now that we've covered up our extra beauty marks, let's go ahead and put on our foundation. So the foundation that I use is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation. This is in the color Warm Sun. It's 334. If you're looking for affordable foundations, this line is a good one too. You can also use the ColorStay foundation. This is more long wear and it's more full coverage than this one. This has a very dewy finish, which I like for my skin. I love both, but if you're looking for more full coverage, ColorStay would be the one for you. Other affordable foundations that would be the same as this foundation will be L'Oreal True Match, Elf foundation. NYX, I've heard that they are okay, but I've never tried a NYX foundation before. But those are drugstores. If you're looking for more high-end, you can go Fenty, NARS, Too Faced. All of those have good ranges for a black woman. If I'm speaking about range, obviously we're going to talk about including black women, because lighter complexions have never really had a problem finding foundations to match their skin tone. This is under $10, so get you, is this under $10? Something like that. If it's not under $10, it's under $15. I don't remember how much you pay for this. Normally I use a foundation brush like this, but let us be very honest. Any brush that you can use to put it on your face, do that. Once upon a time, I used to use brushes like these to put on my foundation. Even though you can see clearly that this brush is not dense enough to pack on product, anything that works for you, use it. Right? There are rules in makeup, of course, but I believe that if something works good for you, you should stick to it. I'm going to use this flat-topped dense brush to press in this foundation. I normally start with putting it under my eyes first. I place it over everywhere that I color corrected. I leave my forehead for last. I barely dab anything there. You don't want a lot of product on your forehead. So now you see how you can barely see any dark areas on my face. That's because of the color corrector. Now because this foundation is relatively sheer, you'd still be able to see the darkness of my under eyes if I had not used that. Get all up in these places. And I get my jawline. Don't touch your neck. Don't stop putting product on your neck. Yes, I'm talking to you. I'm clocking you now. Stop putting product on your neck. I don't like that. The second to last part I go over is my forehead. Last part I go over is my nose, because my nose will get oily. So the less product you put in areas that are a problem, the better it is for you. And this is a very much less is more kind of makeup channel. I'm not doing the swipety swipe swipe swipe. No, I'm pressing the product into my skin. If you do these swiping motions, you're gonna be left with streaks. Alright, we look good? We look good. Next, I move into blending. I use a damp beauty sponge. I got these sponges off of Amazon. I'm gonna put the link below. Blend all of that out. It shouldn't be much that's coming up, but the excess. I use a concealer that is 2 to 3 shades lighter than me. You can use one that's 1 shade lighter than you, but it has to be your undertone. You need to know your undertone to ensure that you don't look like you're wearing a mask. Once you know your undertone, it's easier to get a good match for your foundation and your concealers. For my concealer that I used to highlight, right now I go between a lot of them. This is the Maybelline Age Instant Rewind one, and you can see that it looks a little bit yellow, but that's because I have a yellow undertone. If you have oily skin, it dries down pretty fast. My foundation, also a very much yellow undertone. This is the Maybelline Fit Me concealer, which I've liked using recently. If you have oily combination skin, it doesn't really matter, but for dry skin, this would more be for you guys. Both are affordable. I'm not sure if this one is under $10, but I know for sure this one is under $10. If you want higher end, Fenty, NARS, again, Too Faced has really nice concealers. Stay away from Tarte, makes no sense. Again, I will say, stay away from Tarte, a waste of your money. I know that you're tempted to stop right here, tempted to just set your face, or even walk outside without your face set. But no, we want you to stop. I promise you guys look flat as a board when you just put on foundation. You think it's cute, you think you're onto something, but we don't do that no more. You need to add back the natural highlights and definition to your face, which is why now we're going to step it up a notch. and you need to highlight and contour a bit. This is basically a concealer brush. I'm going to use the Fit Me one because that's what I'm feeling today. I don't place a lot under my eyes. You don't need a lot. The more you put, anything that you're going to hide is going to show up, because concealer does not hide texture. It does not hide fine lines, wrinkles. Place some on my chin, and because I'm going to contour my nose, I place what's left on my brush down my nose, and I filter off some on my forehead. This is the highlight, and now we're going to start defining the face. So now we're going to contour the face. You do not need a really dark shade because you're trying to add definition. Unless you're trying to do drag makeup, you don't need to go with the extra. The next thing that you'll need is setting spray. The reason why I do this is because I like to press the setting spray into my skin than have at the last part, you know, lay it on top. I go ahead and set my face with the NYX Matte Finish setting spray. So this is a mattifying setting spray, guys. If you have a hydrating one, and it literally tell you what kind of setting spray it is. When you're on the site, just read. It literally tells you if it's gonna set down matte, or if it's dewy, or if it's going to be one of those setting spray with the highlights in it. It tells you, so just read. Start with my chin because it just gives me time to leave my eye area to dry down a bit. And ensure, guys, you're using a damp sponge, because if the sponge is not damp, then it makes zero sense. Lastly, my eyes, and you see how I spread that out like so. I like to tilt my head down or stretch your face, like if you want to do that, but I like to tilt my head down because it's less work. Next thing that I go in with is a tapered brush. You can see it has like a little slant thing going on. Blend out my nose contour, or what's left of it. Seeing that when I'm blending it out, I expect the blender to pick up some of it. So if I make a mistake of putting down too much, the beauty blender helps me to take some of that away. Blend that out until you don't see the line anymore. Same goes for the rest of the face if you're going to contour the rest of your face. Comment down below and let me know if you'd like a tutorial on how to highlight and contour. I don't normally face contour that often. It's just like during the winter times when I look pale, I like to add some extra definition to my face. Your nose is not a necessity either, so if you don't need to contour your nose, then you don't have to. It adds like definition to my nose because I don't have a defined nose bridge. Next thing that I do is set my face. You need a setting powder. You need a setting powder, whether it's translucent, something. I prefer setting powders that have a little bit of color to it. This is my NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop setting powder in the color medium. I put some of that powder on the brush like so, and then I press it into my skin. We don't bake here. The only thing that we bake are brownies. We only bake cookies. We bake sweet potato pudding because you know I'm Jamaican, so you know those kind of stuff. Especially if your under eyes are dry or if you have bags, it's gonna only show up more, so baking is not necessary. You can use a wet sponge to do this too. For this powder specifically, I've realized that when I use a wet sponge, it's easier for me to get that chalky looking thing, and I don't want that for my face. We're setting all the areas where we put the lighter concealer. You can use that to set your entire face if you want to, but actually I don't like doing that. I like to have a powder that's closer to my skin tone. This can be a pressed powder. This for me is a loose powder. It's not specifically my skin tone, but it's close. I like to use the Mary Kay loose finishing powder in the color beige too, and just go ahead and press that in everywhere that I didn't press in the other one. While I'm doing that, whatever excess powder is left under my eye, on my nose, on my chin, I just start blending all of that together. I suggest also, if you have laugh lines, set them. Next we move into blush. I'm going to use the Coastal Scents Double Stack Shimmer Palette. It doesn't matter what kind of blush you have. In this case, if it was the cream blush, you would have put it on before you set your entire face. I normally use a brush like this. And do you see how fluffy it is? Or Honestly, you can use any brush that you have. Once upon a time, I used this as my blush brush. Is blush optional for this? Yes. Do I recommend it? Most definitely yes. I recommend you add the blush, you know, to give your face a little bit of vibrance. Since I'm not gonna contour, I feel like I'm gonna use this rose pink. I smile and I start here, then I take it upward, apples of my cheek, and then I take it upward. See? And then what I do is I continue to do like this sweeping motion. If you want to tone down your blush, just go in with the powder. See? Guys, look at how pretty that is. The final setting of my face. Let that dry down. I'm going to do my lips. I'm not a lipstick wearing kind of girl. I really love lip gloss, but right now, because of the panini, because of the panoramic, because of the pendejo, we cannot wear gloss, you know, under the mask. And I don't like when the lip gloss sticking on my mask and stuff. But for the sake of this video, I'm gonna do the lip gloss still, but you know, if you're going outside and stuff, I suggest you wear a matte liquid lipstick. I'm going to be using a lip liner from my brand, Beauty by Janneil P. I go to this lip palette. Do you see how this one is done? Because I use it so much. Go to this one and I place this what you call this now? Bubblegum pink. The lip combo you put in on yourself is what looks best on you. I'm going to use the Victoria's Secret Beauty Rush in the color Love It. For the shine, I'm going to use the LA Colors High Shine Shea Butter Lip Gloss. I try to keep my lips very simple and very cute. If you have lashes, then that's awesome. You can just put on some mascara and move along with your day, or do a little half lash if you're feeling a little bit festive. But for me personally, I have zero lashes. Even when I put on mascara, I have none. So I always, even with my everyday look, I wear lashes. This is from my brand, Beauty by Janneil P, and they're in the style Posh, and they're a little bit fluffy but not like too extra. Guys, this is the final look. This is how I do my everyday makeup look. This is what I do most times. Let me know if this was easy to follow. Let me know if you guys learned something, if I missed something that you wanted to know. Just shoot the question in the comments and I'll definitely go ahead and respond. Remember to like this video. Remember to subscribe. Remember to turn on your post notifications. Wait. Look at my high school quest. Nah, this is some phenomenal woman type of stuff. Remember to turn on your post notifications when you subscribe, so click the bell, and also comment down below what kind of videos you guys would like to see me do next. Remember to share, and I'll see you guys in the next video.